Let me start by telling you something most women will never admit out loud. A woman usually realizes a man mattered only after she loses the version of him she thought would always be there. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. And if you've ever felt ignored, taken for granted, or treated like your effort didn't mean anything, you're not crazy. Women really do behave like that sometimes. Not because they're evil, not because they never cared, but because most women don't feel the value of something until it stops being so easy to reach. And here's the part men never get told. A woman doesn't miss you when she leaves. She misses you when you stop being the man she remembers having unlimited access to. When you pull your energy back, when you stop showing up the way she expects, when your presence is no longer a guarantee. That's when her mind starts replaying everything she took for granted. Women feel loss emotionally before they understand it logically. So the moment she senses you're slipping out of her world, even if she was the one who pushed you away, it hits her in a different, deeper way. It's subtle at first. A little curiosity, a little confusion, a little, why isn't he reacting? But give it time, and the psychology kicks in. She starts noticing what's missing. And I want you to hear this clearly from a woman's mouth. Most women won't tell you they miss you until they feel the consequences of not having you. Because missing you isn't about distance, it's about contrast. The contrast between the man she got used to and the man she suddenly can't reach. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how that shift happens, what triggers it, how a woman's mind processes regret, longing, and the fear of losing a man she once overlooked, and most importantly, what you should and shouldn't do when she starts feeling your absence. Let's break down how women truly start missing the man they took for granted. 1. When your silence becomes louder than her complaints. Here's something most men don't understand about women. Your silence hits us harder than anything you could ever say. A woman can argue with you, complain, criticize, pull away, act like nothing fazes her. But the moment you stop responding with the same energy she's used to, everything inside her shifts. Women don't miss you when you're available. We miss you when your absence suddenly becomes real. At first, her mind will tell her she's fine. She'll convince herself she's doing the right thing by pulling away, or that she's teaching you a lesson, or that she's protecting her peace. But the second you stop chasing, stop explaining yourself, stop trying to fix everything, that's when your silence starts talking to her in a way she didn't expect. And women hear that silence differently. It's not empty. It's not passive. To a woman, silence feels like change. Think about the dynamic she had with you. She was used to you caring. She was used to your attention, your messages, your effort. Even if she acted annoyed by it, she relied on it. It was her safety net, the thing she thought she could fall back on whenever she felt uncertain or emotional. Then suddenly, nothing. No checking in, no long explanations, no, "Are you okay?" No emotional safety net. And here's where the psychology kicks in. Women are emotional creatures, but we're also deeply perceptive. When a man goes quiet, we don't just hear his silence, we feel it. It tells us you're no longer fighting for the spot we assumed you'd never give up. There's always a moment, and every woman knows this moment, when she realizes he's really not reaching out. And in that moment, her confidence cracks. She starts replaying her behavior. She starts rethinking the way she treated you. She starts wondering if she pushed too far, and that's when missing you begins. It doesn't start with love or affection. It starts with uncertainty. Women are addicted to certainty in relationships. When she was sure you cared, she felt comfortable taking you for granted. But when your silence removes that certainty, she has to sit with the uncomfortable possibility that she might have lost someone she didn't appreciate enough. 2. The moment. She realizes you're not waiting anymore. There's a specific moment that hits a woman harder than anything else, and it's the moment she realizes you're not sitting there waiting for her to come back. Most women don't expect a man to disappear emotionally. Even if she walked away, even if she said she needed space, even if she acted like she didn't care. Deep down, she still believed you'd be right there if she changed her mind. That belief is what lets her act like you don't matter. It's what lets her take you for granted. It's what makes her feel like she can always come back whenever she wants. But when a woman senses that you're not waiting, that your world is moving forward without her, it triggers a completely different emotional response. It's not anger. It's not sadness. It's not jealousy. It's something more uncomfortable. Self-reflection. Because here's the truth. Most men never hear from a woman. We only start reflecting when the man we assumed would never leave becomes unpredictable. Your unpredictability is not playing games. It's the result of you no longer centering your life around her. And trust me, a woman feels that shift before you even say a word. She notices the little things first. Your replies feel calmer, your tone sounds different. You're not asking questions, you're not trying to prove anything. Even if you still talk, the energy isn't the same. And women are extremely sensitive to emotional energy. When she realizes you're not waiting, a few things start happening inside her. She reevaluates her choices. A woman can justify anything when she believes she won't lose you. But the second she feels the connection slipping, she starts wondering if she misjudged your worth. A man who moves on without bitterness, without emotional reaction, without begging, that hits her pride and her heart at the same time. She starts imagining you with someone else. Even if she didn't want you when she had you, the idea of another woman experiencing the version of you she took for granted will bother her more than she'll ever admit. Women don't miss just the man. They miss the role they had in his life. She becomes more aware of her own behavior. When a man is still waiting, a woman doesn't feel the need to change anything. But when she feels your detachment, she starts replaying the way she acted. She remembers the messages she ignored, the effort she dismissed, the moments she treated you casually, and that reflection creates emotional discomfort, the kind that makes her start missing what she lost. She realizes you're no longer emotionally available to her, and emotional availability is a woman's oxygen. When it disappears, she feels it quickly and deeply. This is the moment where missing you turns into fear. Not fear of losing you, but fear of what it means about her. Fear that she misjudged a good man. Fear that she lost someone who was willing, present, consistent. Fear that she assumed too much. 3. Why? Her mind replays the version of you she lost. When a woman starts missing a man she took for granted, the first thing that comes back to her isn't the relationship itself. It's the version of you she remembers having easy access to. Women don't miss the present version of you. They miss the version they assumed would always be there. And once that's gone, her mind becomes almost obsessed with replaying the moments she didn't fully appreciate. This happens because women attach emotionally through patterns. When you were consistent, available, attentive, supportive, or simply present in a way no one else was, she built a silent, emotional pattern around that. Even if she acted uninterested, that pattern became familiar to her. It became part of her emotional comfort zone. And when you're no longer providing that energy, she feels a void. And her mind goes straight to the moments where she felt that comfort the strongest. She replays the way you looked at her with intention. She replays the way you listened when she talked, or the time you stayed up late even though you were tired, or the way you made her feel chosen without her having to ask. She remembers the calmness you brought, the affection you offered, the effort you thought was normal, the same effort she didn't value until it stopped. And here's what most men never realize. A woman is most nostalgic about the emotional version of you she can no longer reach. That's why she starts thinking back to the way you used to talk to her. Not just what you said, but the tone, the softness, the eagerness, the passion. She notices its absence before she ever admits it, and that's what makes her miss you. She's not missing you as a whole. She's missing how she felt when she was the center of your emotional world. Women tend to compare new experiences to old ones, so even if she's talking to someone else, she'll still measure those interactions against the connection she had with you. The new guy might be fun or attractive, but he won't replicate the exact emotional pattern you created. He won't speak the same way, won't understand her the way you did, won't care in the same style you naturally expressed. And that contrast makes her realize what she once overlooked. Another thing women do is replay specific moments where they pushed you away, acted cold, or made you feel unappreciated. At the time, she felt powerful doing it because she believed you weren't going anywhere. But in hindsight, those exact moments become the ones that haunt her. They turn into reminders of how she mishandled someone who actually cared. 4. How women feel when your energy stops pointing toward them. A woman can pretend she doesn't care. She can act unbothered, distant, confident, and even cold. But the truth is, she feels it instantly when your energy shifts away from her. Women are emotionally intuitive, sometimes to a fault. We can sense when something is off, even before you fully realize it yourself. And when your energy stops flowing toward us the way it used to, it creates a very specific reaction inside us, even if we don't show it. At first, it feels like confusion. She becomes aware that something about you is different, but she can't quite put her finger on what changed. The conversations feel lighter. Your presence feels less intense. You're not as eager, not as expressive, not as emotionally open. She notices it in the smallest details, the way you answer, the time it takes you to respond, the lack of emotional weight in your words. And that difference sticks in her mind, even if she tries to pretend it doesn't. Then the confusion turns into discomfort. Because for a woman, a man's attention is more than just attention. It's validation, emotional nourishment, and a sense of connection. Even if she didn't reciprocate your effort, she was used to the feeling of being wanted by you. That energy made her feel important. When it pulls away, it disrupts her emotional rhythm. She starts wondering what she did. She starts questioning whether you're upset, bored, or worse, moving on. That discomfort slowly turns into insecurity, not always in an obvious way, but in a subtle internal shift. She begins checking her phone more. She rereads your messages. She pays closer attention to your social media. She becomes more alert to your tone. Even if she doesn't reach out, she's thinking far more than she shows. And this insecurity isn't about losing you. It's about losing the version of herself she felt like when she had your attention. As your energy continues drifting away, she enters the stage of realization. This is when she starts recognizing that the emotional connection she assumed would always be there is actually fading. And that hits deeper than she expected. A woman doesn't have to love you to feel this. She just has to feel that your presence in her life gave her something she now notices is missing. It could be stability, affection, admiration, or simply the comfort of knowing she mattered to someone. 5. What happens when she sees you're doing fine without her nothing? Triggers a woman's emotions faster than realizing the man she once took for granted is genuinely doing fine without her. It's not the silence alone. It's not the distance. It's the moment she sees with her own eyes, or hears through someone else, that you're not struggling, you're not stuck, and you're not waiting for her to come back. That's when everything she thought she controlled starts slipping out of her hands. Women expect men to hurt longer. They expect you to sit with the loss. They expect you to dwell on what happened. So when you don't, That's when her emotions start shifting in ways she didn't prepare for. It usually starts with something small. Maybe she sees a photo of you looking relaxed, confident, or surrounded by people who make you better. Maybe she notices you've been going out, focusing on yourself, dressing better, or just carrying a different kind of energy. Or maybe she hears through a friend that you're glowing in a way you never did when you were stressing over her. And here's where women get hit the hardest. When your life looks peaceful without her, it forces her to confront her own assumptions. She always assumed she mattered more to your emotional world than she actually did. She assumed her absence would leave a hole you couldn't fill. She assumed coming back would be easy. But seeing you fine, truly fine, makes her feel like she misjudged how deeply you valued yourself. And that realization is uncomfortable because it shows her you have something she didn't expect: resilience. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Imagine she's scrolling through her phone late at night. She lands on your story. You're out with friends, laughing in a way she hasn't seen in a long time. You look lighter, more present. There's no bitterness in your face, no sadness hiding behind your smile. And for the first time, she feels something sharp in her chest. Not jealousy, not regret, but a sudden awareness that she's not part of this new version of your life. She locks her phone, then opens it again, then watches it a second time. She won't admit it, but something in her shifts right there. Because she didn't expect you to be okay. She expected you to struggle, to chase, to reach out eventually. That was the version of you she was familiar with. But seeing you thriving without her creates a kind of emotional disruption she can't ignore. It challenges her sense of importance. It makes her wonder if she misread the entire connection. It makes her question whether she played herself by letting you go so easily. And the crazy part? The better you do, the more she feels it. 6. Why women miss stability only after they break it. Most men don't realize how much women depend on emotional stability, even when they act like they don't need it. A woman may take it for granted. She may misuse it. She may even walk away from it. But the truth is, she doesn't fully understand its value until it's gone. And the moment she breaks the stability you gave her, that's when she starts missing it the most. Women often confuse excitement with connection. They get caught up in emotions, attention, and the temporary rush of something new. But stability, the steady presence of a man who shows up, tries, cares, and is consistent, that's something she only appreciates in hindsight. Because stability doesn't feel loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't create chaos. It feels calm, predictable, and safe. And unfortunately, safety is the exact thing many women don't recognize until they lose it. The reason she starts missing you afterward is simple. She realizes you were the one part of her emotional world she could rely on without ever having to ask. You were her balance. You were the one who kept things grounded. And when you step back, whether intentionally or simply because you're tired of trying, her life suddenly feels less steady. She may try to distract herself. She may talk to someone new. She may tell herself she made the right decision. But none of that replaces the emotional stability you provided. She starts noticing the contrast, the conversations that don't feel as genuine, the attention that doesn't feel as safe, the interactions that feel surface level instead of deep. And that's when it hits her. She let go of the one kind of man she can't easily replace. Women miss stability because it's rare. Anyone can give her excitement. Anyone can give her temporary attention, but very few men can offer real emotional grounding. And once she loses that, she starts feeling the consequences in ways she didn't expect. She becomes more reactive, more uncertain, more sensitive to things that never used to bother her. Because whether she admitted it or not, your presence softened parts of her life she didn't know needed softening. You made things easier without making her feel weak. You supported her without needing recognition. You gave her a sense of peace she didn't know she relied on. 7. The wake-up call. Men need. Stop rewarding a woman who took you for granted. If there's one thing men need to hear, even if it stings a little, it's this: you can't keep rewarding a woman for behavior that hurt you. You can care about her. You can miss her. You can even still want her. But if she took you for granted, dismissed your effort, ignored your intentions, or treated your presence like it was guaranteed, then giving her the same treatment again only teaches her that nothing has to change. And that's where so many men sabotage themselves. You keep trying to prove your worth. You keep giving more than she gave you. You keep showing her loyalty she didn't earn. You keep attaching to the potential of who she could be, instead of the reality of how she treated you. But here's the truth. Women won't tell you directly. The moment you reward a woman who took you for granted, she loses respect for you even more. Women don't respect what's too easy. We don't value what holds on no matter how we behave. We don't admire the man who lets us walk all over him and then welcomes us back like nothing happened. A woman may come back because she misses the attention, the comfort, the safety, or the emotional consistency. But she will only change if she sees that you have changed, not by becoming cold or bitter, but by raising your standards, by refusing to be the version of yourself she took advantage of, by showing that you learned from the pain instead of repeating it. The wake-up call for most men is recognizing that you have more power than you think. Women feel it when a man knows his worth. Women feel it when he isn't emotionally desperate. Women feel it when he isn't afraid to lose her. That's when she takes him seriously. That's when she respects him. And yes, that's when she starts missing him for real, not out of ego, but out of recognition. Here's the truth. Most men never hear from a woman. A woman doesn't miss you because you left. She misses you because you stopped being the version of yourself she took for granted. That distinction is everything. It's not about manipulation or playing games. It's about understanding how women think, how we attach emotionally, and how we recognize value, often too late. If you've been the man who always gave, always cared, always showed up, and yet felt invisible, this is your moment to reflect. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need to prove your worth again. Women feel respect and attraction toward a man who honors himself first. Your absence, your boundaries, your consistency. Those are the triggers that make a woman start noticing what she ignored. And here's the kicker. She won't tell you directly. She might act indifferent, she might act frustrated, or she might even walk away again. But inside, she's replaying every moment, realizing what she lost. And if you've learned to hold your own ground, you become unforgettable. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped enabling her disregard. So now, I want you to think about your own experiences. Have you been the man she took for granted? Have you pulled back and noticed her perspective shifting? I want you to share your story in the comments. I'll be reading them, engaging with you, and giving honest feedback from a woman's perspective. Remember this: the men who grow, set boundaries, and honor themselves are the men women never forget. The rest? They stay easily replaceable. Don't be replaceable. Be the man she starts missing. The man she never realized she couldn't live without.